IVM.
This show is brought to you by IVM Podcasts. At IVM, we strive to get you the best podcasts every week, week in and week out. This has been a great week on IVM. We're launching a new show on the 21st of May, hosted by Veda. It's called Who's Your Mommy? And it's all about motherhood. I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. Also, check out Cyrus Says. He had Tanvi Mehra this week as a guest. Tanvi basically is a yoga instructor, and she makes Cyrus do yoga in the studio. That's quite fun. Also, make sure you catch Simplified this week. Chuck, Naren, and Shrika talk about how Facebook is targeting you. And, well, given the news these days, I'm sure that's something that's of interest to everybody. On Paisa Vaisa this week, Anupam talks to Costa Belapurkar. He's the director of fund research at Morningstar, and it's a really interesting episode that gets into the ins and outs of mutual funds. Please definitely do check that out. So, guys, we also have a great new Hindi show called Pulyabazi. This last Thursday, we released an episode around the Indian-Afghanistan relationship over the years, and it's really interesting. The show is hosted by Pranay and Saurabh, both of whom are part of the Takshashila Institute, and I think that we're very glad to have them as part of the IVM family. And guys, just as a reminder, please follow us on social media as IVM Podcast. Please do reach out. We would love to hear from you. Also, wherever you're listening to this podcast, please see if you can give us a rating over there, or if you can give us a review over there, whether that's Apple Podcasts, or whether that's Castbox, or wherever you're listening to your podcast, or the IVM app for that matter. It's a really good app. You should check it out. And now let me get you onto your show.
Hello and welcome to the Geek Fruit Podcast. My name is Dinkar, and with me today is special guest Tejas Menon.
What?
Yeah, I'm giving you special guest status, man.
Yeah, but that makes me feel like not regular.
Oh, okay, fair. Can I be the special guest
You
then?
can be the irregular guest star.
Alright, like the Baker Street Irregulars. Who are pretty cool.
Okay.
I guess. Anyway, this is the latest entrant in our landmark spin-off series, sub-podcast, whatever
It's
you want to
not
call
sub if it's still part of the main series, isn't it?
Isn't that why it's a sub? Because it's part of the main series.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's not a spin-off then.
It's not a spin-off yet.
Does it have its own RSS feed?
Not yet.
I guess
but
not.
It's called Water Cartoon Episodes at this point.
Yes. I'm so excited to do this.
We are in insert number here.
What is it? Is it 5? Janam is saying 5.
Alright, we're in episode
She's
number
saying we
5.
have 5 minutes left. I don't know. One of those.
Who knows? She's just like, shut it down. But yeah,
this has gone on about 5 episodes too many.
This is the subsection of the Geek Fruit Podcast where we discuss cartoons. This was originally supposed to be a one-shot where we just talked about cartoons once or twice.
Was it?
Yeah,
no,
I
I
think
always thought it was supposed to be 3 episodes where we do like each era, and then we really just glazed over because there's so much material.
There's so many cartoons.
Yeah. In
What you
fact,
gonna
when we went to the 90s era, the 80s, 90s era, we had to skip what we're going to be talking about in this episode because it was just its own genre almost by itself.
Yeah, it's a universe by itself, quite literally. Mm-hmm. That's because we're talking about the DC animated universe today.
Killer segue.
Warner Brothers animation version of the DC movies.
Yes.
Which are, let's just put this out there and nobody can debate it, the best DC movies.
Yes, they're the best DC movies.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's formed more for continuity. Like, I feel a lot of people don't give it the credit it deserves. It's like this reliable friend that you have. You know it's going to keep churning out film after film, and people are going to keep enjoying it.
And keep killing it.
Yeah, but they don't give it the... I mean, I know it has the respect that it needs.
I
but
think
like,
only among the nerd community.
You know, this is exactly it.
When your fly-by-night superhero fans go like, man, DC sucks, and like Marvel knows how to do movies. I'm like, watch the animated ones.
Yeah, man, you're getting something which Marvel has not been able to crack as well. I'd say they've done some good shows.
Their animated series?
Yes, they've had Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which I think was really good, which was 2 seasons of that. But it's few and far between for them. Really hit or miss, though I have been watching Iron Man Armored Adventures on Netflix.
Is that a new Iron Man?
No, it's an old one. It's like 2010, but since it just cropped up, I've been binging it.
Oh, so does it tie into the MCU?
Not at all.
It's like standalone adventures?
It's the story, it's the adventures of 15-year-old Tony Stark.
Oh, nice. I was just watching a Black Panther animated short.
I've seen it,
which is...
It's the web series, right?
It's a web series,
but it's got a great cast, actually. It's got Jaimin Hansu as Black Panther.
Exactly. Solid cast, but decent series.
And you know what? So here's what's so weird about it. That Black Panther series, I've been trying to find like a copy of it everywhere because I like downloading these weirdly rare ones.
Yeah.
And the moment the movie hit number 1 and it became super famous, they just released it on YouTube.
They released it online, yeah.
So good.
Exactly.
Man,
smartly
Marvel
done.
guys, dude. So smart.
They know how to do their tie-in much.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the DC animated universe. universe. Maybe we should do another spin-off on the Marvel animated.
We should, 100%.
We will.
Yes.
Next water cartoon. But to get back to DC,
yes,
we bring this up because there's been two very interesting entrants into the DC animated universe.
Three actually, but we won't talk about the first out of the three.
So there's Batman Ninja.
Correct. That's the most recent of all of them.
That's the most recent. There's Gotham by Gaslight,
which came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and what's the third?
And the third one was the sequel to Batman, the Cape Crusaders, the one with Adam West. It was like the last Adam West film, technically, because he passed away last year. So yeah, that's his last turn. His last turn in any movie is also as Batman.
Three weird ones. So what all three of these do is kind of reimagine Batman with the Cape Crusaders. The Cape Crusaders 2. It's basically... It's kind of in the continuity of the Batman TV show starring...
the 1966 TV show.
It's the same tone, except now it's a lot more ironic and self-aware.
Yes, very self-aware,
Though also, in large parts, it's played really straight, which I also like.
No, I love it, dude. And it's so amazing that with animation, we've been able to kind of get back almost the original cast, three of the original cast. It's awesome, man. It's amazing.
You don't even hear their age, dude. Like Adam West,
you can hear in Burt Ward. Because he's literally playing
he was the boy wonder, and now he's like 60-year-old wonder.
He's like literally the senior citizen wonder. But
then there's Gotham by Gaslight reimagines Batman in the Victorian England
which is based on the comic book.
Based on the comic book.
So I think you can broadly divide it into two things, which is one is the major current DCAU continuity, which is the one which the Justice League is following. This year is going to have one more film called The Death of Superman, which is actually the second Death of Superman which they're doing. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, because they did, didn't they do... he dies in All-Star Superman as well.
In All-Star Superman, but it's kind of an open.
But All-Star Superman is kind of out of continuity anyway, correct?
No, so All-Star Superman is based on the comic book of the same book, and that's like an amazing, it's a one-off thing. But in The Death of Superman, which is the one which has Doomsday, which we can't say now without reminding ourselves of BVS.
Yes.
But so they did that version as well, where he gets resurrected, etc., etc.
Correct.
And that also became
Doomsday
a film.
basically just keeps punching, and Superman dies.
Correct. As
opposed to All-Star Superman, which had a great reason for Superman to die.
Unbelievable. What a great movie. We'll get to it. So those are going on. We have the DC, the Justice League continuity, and then we have these one-offs which have been coming. It's almost like proper fan service. They've been taking all the best arcs and just recreating them for screen.
They have this great freedom to kind of try all sorts of weird things.
Really, freedom is the word, man.
Like Batman Ninja is one of the weirdest Batmans you will see. So it's amazing. Explain Batman Ninja.
Batman Ninja, which I thought was going to be just a straight up one-off of Batman who exists in Japan. Turns out to be...
It's actually in the DCAU continuity.
It is in the DCAU continuity, and it's basically a story about how Gorilla Grodd basically makes a machine that sends them all into prehistoric... Well, not prehistoric, but ancient... feudal Japan, right? Feudal Japan. And instead of the feuding, states of Japan, you have each major villain kind of holding an area and, governing it to their,
this was this was Batman All-Stars, because they had Joker is the main villain, along with Harley Quinn.
Played by Tony Hale.
I know.
How about that?
And he was amazing.
He was really good, actually.
Cool.
I was surprised.
I didn't think he had... a little over the top, but I liked it.
No, dude, if it's not over the top, it's not anime. That's what I keep saying. Yeah? And this movie is over the top. So what do you think of it?
It's ridiculously over the top. I thought it was fantastic in many parts.
Yeah.
Purely because of the visuals. But especially by the third act, it kind of started falling apart.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I liked what I like about anime, which is that it's nice to see all those things happen in this.
Some of those visuals are just
nuts.
Amazing. It's 2D animation with a lot of anime-inspired stuff, as well as a lot of modern 3D inspired
things. It's basically like cell shading animation.
Correct,
it's kind of what you see on the Telltale games and stuff.
So you've got 3D layers in a 2D style, which is great.
It's cool. And the entire team is a Japanese team. It's been auteured almost by this one dude.
So this movie was made originally in Japanese, and the English version is the dub.
In fact, I was trying my best to find the Japanese version because I hate watching dubbed stuff. I like watching with subtitles. I ended up watching it. But then we did get to see cool performances by Tony Hale. Tara Strong obviously reprising a role as Harley Quinn. And the other cool thing is Roger Craig Smith, who plays Ezio in the Assassin's Creed series, playing Batman this. And he's also played Batman in Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
The the in-between game between city and night. So yeah, so I really love him. He's one of my favorite guys.
And he's a solid Batman.
He's a great Batman.
What do you say to him?
Dude, I'm a huge fan of... Man, there was a time in my life where I was so obsessed with Assassin's Creed, the first 3 games. Man, I read all the novelizations also.
What?
Yeah, I have all of them still. And I just inhaled all of that stuff. I was so into it. And then Assassin's Creed kind of lost the plot, literally. But yeah, big fan of Roger Craig Smith. I like this movie for what it does with the art. Plot-wise, it's literally all over the place.
Plot-wise, it is so all over the place.
It's also like a weird, there's some weird acid trip kind of stuff going on.
There is such weird stuff.
There's that one section in the film, I don't know if you remember this.
The one with the Red Hood?
Yeah, the Red Hood basically goes to check on the Joker after this big explosion. The Joker seems to have lost his memory.
Yeah.
And that entire sequence is done in this weird waking life kind of...
Yeah, it's like this semi-rotoscoped 2D animation.
It's weird.
It's a reference to a form of Japanese art.
Correct, yeah.
But it's
I really liked that they went all in.
The entire movie is an acid trip, essentially. It starts out normal, and as you go deeper into it, it loses. That last section,
dude, not to spoil. Yeah, not to spoil.
I mean, it's not spoiler. In fact, if anything, it should make you want to go see this movie more.
But
the entire last section, everyone has their own house turned into a giant robot.
It's a Megazord at the end.
And
dude, I'm just gonna say one thing, and you can take it at whatever face value.
Yeah.
A bunch of monkeys combine with bats to form a giant 1930s Batman.
Yeah. And I love that it's 1930s Batman.
It's the Lewis Carroll Batman. Not Lewis Carroll. Oh, I can't remember his name. Lewis something. The one who...
The first one. The one with the funky floppy ears.
The original Action Comics, I think, or Detective Comics, right? Yeah. Oh my god.
It's so surreal.
Yeah, it was so weird.
It's, again, very anime inspired, so there's barely any dialogue other than Castle, assemble!
Yeah, and
stuff like that. And, I mean, just the very fact that there's a monkey sidekick.
Yeah. Oh my god. It had to be.
Yeah. I mean, everyone in the Batman universe is in this, right? There's Batman. He finds an unlikely ally in Catwoman, who's also transported back in time.
Correct,
Joker's one of the main villains. There's Two-Face.
Yes.
There's Penguin.
They were we have one movie, guys. Let's do it. Let's go on it.
Bane as a sumo wrestler.
Oh my god. That's my favorite section of the film, where basically his Batmobile crashes, explodes into the Batwing, which explodes then into the Batcycle, which then explodes into a Bat Transformer suit.
It's nuts.
What is happening?
And then he fights sumo wrestler Bane.
Oh my gosh.
It's got the Robin's Rogues Gallery of Robins.
It's got Outsiders, man. It's got Red Robin, which is now Tim Drake.
Yes.
It's got Nightwing, which is Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
It's got Red Hood, which is Jason Todd, and it's got the Young Robin, which is Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
So it's literally got Robin
everyone.
In it. Oh my god, it was so weird.
Except for the girl Robin, who's not in this continuity.
No,
anyway.
that's not. That's just Returns. Dark Knight Returns.
It's only Returns?
Yeah. And I mean, they've now kind of merged it into the what's her name? Oh my god, Cassie.
Even I can't remember.
Carrie. Something. It's something guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, man, it's good to see Damian Wayne not be a dick for once, even though he's got weird hair. It's great. Yeah.
He's got
an old uncle from Salanke Vihar style haircut.
And a monkey sidekick.
Yeah.
He's the most anime of the lot.
Yeah. So I think this movie is great for the art. If you love Batman, it has to be on your list.
You should definitely watch it.
Definitely watch it, but it's at times it's a bit of a slog because you're like, okay, cool, we get it.
Some sections are just so odd though.
Yeah, just odd.
There's a section which is basically a training montage where Batman says I am going to become the Bat Ninja of Prophecy.
I love that. That was my favorite. Yeah.
It was it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's great. So it's basically a bunch of Japanese art style pastiches while voiceover explains what's happening.
So good.
Which is great. Except when Alfred comes in and everyone else is we're going to do this and we're going to do this, and Alfred is I'm preparing a high protein diet.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
How did that form part of the montage?
Or the fact that my favorite sight gag, which I don't think is a sight gag on purpose, is when Batman gets a letter from Gorilla Grodd, who he realizes also come back in time.
Correct.
And the letter is in English, and he goes this letter is in English.
Yeah.
And then there's a shot of the letter, and it starts with, Dear the Dark Knight. why wouldn't you say Dear Batman?
Oh, God.
Well, Gorilla Grodd is supposed to be a gentleman.
He is. He's an educated man.
But Dear the Dark Knight, I request the pleasure of your company.
Oh, God, I missed that. Damn. But yeah, bizarre movie. Watch it regardless.
Definitely worth a watch.
The better of the two films is definitely Gotham by Gaslight.
Yes.
This movie basically takes Batman into the Victorian era.
And there's no excuse for him to get there. There's no framing device. It just says like, what if Batman was in the Victorian era?
It's a what if. It's like an Elseworlds kind of story.
It's an Elseworlds situation.
And it's so good. Oh my god. So he's fighting basically Jack the Ripper.
Yes.
So first off, we take two characters from two different things and, plot them together. Already awesome.
Yeah.
Who was the cast for this one? I can't remember. But like whoever was in this was so cool.
It was some of the regulars, I think. I'm just look it up.
But man, it was fantastic. I really,
it was great. It's kind of like Sherlock Holmesian, the way Batman is portrayed.
Yeah.
And there's basically the larger theme of it is that there's this puritanical element in Victorian England.
Yeah.
So Jack the Ripper is portrayed as basically this dude who's completely against
like prostitutes and stuff. Basically anybody
vices,
of vices, and so he's basically offing all of them.
Yeah.
And it's pretty gruesome. I mean, like it's pretty hardcore.
There's a cultish element to it as well. And Batman is like the man of science who's the detective of the lot.
I can't remember. And what else does he use? Oh, he has a Batmobile? Or does he have like a chariot kind of thing?
A chariot-ish thing, and also maybe a motorbike. He has a motorbike.
Yes, he does. Yeah. Oh, dude, it was so great.
It's so great. You've got these like 3 street urchins who become his...
I love that.
Yeah, it's
great.
I
absolutely love that.
Perfectly done.
And the other thing, and this movie, I mean, I don't want to say anything, but this ending of this movie is so good.
It's nuts.
It'll come out of nowhere
and
for you.
So the ending...
Which I don't remember it being in the comic, by the way. So that's what's really interesting about it.
I didn't expect it either because of that. But it's a gigantic twist and it is really dark.
It's quite dark.
There's some...
You will not see this one coming.
There's some hardcore violence. There's like burning and disfigurement and stuff.
Oh, it's hard.
It's intense.
But
a great watch. And again, just some cool ass visuals. You've got Batman wearing a cape and then an overcoat on top of it.
Man, so
Please,
cool.
sign me up.
Dude, and I like that you can see his eyes a lot more because he's wearing like old school kind of clothes. And it was great. It was a great movie. Great cast. I mean, like great voice acting. Solid entry into the... there's not much to say. Just watch it.
Yeah, just watch
the good ones.
Watch both, really.
Yeah, watch all of them, but like...
Let's do this. These are the 2 latest entrants in the
Let
DC...
us also do this one thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, let's say which are our favorites of all time.
Of course.
We have to.
Done. I think we know what the answer is.
Wait, do you?
I know mine.
I know mine also.
Okay.
But like, okay, cool. We'll take a short break. We'll be back and we'll talk more about the DCAU.
Long, long ago, not in Bethlehem, but in a place nearby, there was a wonderful birth of a huge show, which I like to call Cyrus Says. A show that encapsulates everything in human history, from the first Homo sapien to the last Homo sapien, who's traversed the entire world and then come back to India. This is a show which tells you everything about everything. If you want to know, avoid Google, come to us. It's called Cyrus Says. Get new episodes every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts from. It's simple as A, B, oh God, what comes after that?
Cyrus Says is brought to you by Setu IMAX.
Welcome back to the Geek Fruit Podcast. We are discussing the DC animated universe. So we spent some time discussing the 2 latest entrants, but let's take a trip back into the past.
Into the 90s.
Into the 90s.
Let's start at the beginning.
Batman TAS.
A very good place to start.
The animated series.
Yes, indeed.
One of the greatest versions of Batman there is.
Yeah, it kind of has set the tone for the entire DC universe. Like in many ways. Because you want to say Tim Burton is kind of responsible first. Because, I mean, these guys have gone on record to say if
Tim Burton's tone.
If it didn't exist, their show would never exist.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So it kind of got it into... Man, actually, the story starts way
I feel like Tim
back.
Burton's tone kind of plays into it, but not so much the sensibility, like the weirdness of
it.
The
weirdness is Tim Burton, sure, but the darkness of it is like, I think, what they nailed about the Batman animated series. So yeah, man.
Thanks to another Tim, our boy Bruce
Bruce Tim. Dude, that guy's a legend. He comes on Conan quite often and he does all these drawings of Conan as dude, awesome. He's
the
amazing.
Flaming Sea.
As the Flaming Sea, yeah. Dude, so Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Andrea Romano, all these amazing people kind of got together and decided to make this show. Man, I was just watching, so today, just before coming, I decided maybe just watch a bit of the first episode, which is on Leather Wings. It has Man-Bat as
I remember that.
the villain. So, man, you know what I love about this show? It's like wine. It's like fine wine. It's like aged so well.
Yeah.
It's like really, there's something so vintage about it now.
Yeah.
It's so, and because, it's not like why we have a separate episode for this is because it doesn't feel like a cartoon in many ways. It's just like this piece of art that is existing.
Absolutely.
You know?
even the animation doesn't really age because it's smooth, it's fluid, it's really nicely done. If it wasn't for the fact that the entire show is in this like 4:3 aspect ratio,
the first few seasons,
you wouldn't be able, if they just remastered it and put it out.
They just recently remastered it and they've just recently released it as Blu-ray. So
that's amazing.
It's the dream come true for all fanboys.
Though I would like to still watch it in PAL ratio.
Yeah, 100%. I think the remaster would obviously make it better. The sound would be better. That would be great.
Probably, yes.
But yeah, man, like...
But it's a great version of Batman, because it's got the greatest Batman ever committed to any sort of film.
Yeah. Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy is...
He's a great Batman. First Batman apparently to use two separate voices for Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Correct, yeah. He kind of set a trend there.
And you can tell that he's still workshopping it, like in the first few episodes, but it's great,
Yeah, because his Batman is like kind of higher pitched in the first few. He doesn't start doing like the I'm Batman voice until
I am
later.
Vengeance, I am the Night, I am Batman.
Yeah.
No, but in the first episode, and you could tell that Batman is still, it's a lighter tone. And then I think they just double down on the darkness, aspect of it.
Because as the seasons go on, it also gets like progressively darker.
Because the events of the story get insanely dark.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
They also started developing a running storyline later. And in the first few, it was like properly episodic, which is how it was
very
meant to be.
status quo. But it was great. Like, I love those.
Yeah, I especially love those. I love that you could watch an episode out of order and it's still great.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, but so I think what's really good, that first series obviously is 2 seasons in the beginning. And it's just about Batman, and we're kind of introduced to Robin towards the end of it, until, a movie comes out, and then, the next 2 series are the new adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
The movie that came out in between is a movie called Batman Sub-Zero, which honestly is the reason why Mr. Freeze is what he is today. It kind of made his backstory canon, like the whole thing about Nora Freeze's wife,
exactly.
being, ailing from whatever this disease that he's trying to cure. So they gave him a full kind of like, sympathetic like angle, and like that's what has nailed like 3 major characters. Renee Montoya, who works at the GCPD. Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze's backstory. 3 things that are now
all
canon.
Invented in the animated series,
Yeah, and now Suicide Squad, the movie.
Harley Quinn is probably one of the most recognizable DC characters now, and she came from the animated series.
The minds of these people. Wow, it's awesome.
And she's a great character.
Dude, amazing character. I think why it works well is because it's such a great, opposite kind of thing to the Joker.
Like the perfect foil to Joker's nuttiness.
Foil.
She's like nutty in a slightly opposite sense.
But she's kind of like weirdly devoted, and he treats her like crap, but it's like this weird relationship that they have.
It's
weird.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, man, that first few... one of my favorite episodes is... I think it's called... I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Bruises or something like that. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's one of my absolute favorites. It's the new adventures of Batman and Robin, and it's where Batman and Nightwing are not on speaking terms anymore, right? They're not talking. And so Tim Drake, the new Robin, kind of goes and hangs out with him, and he asks...
With Nightwing?
With Nightwing. He's like, what happened? And the whole story is the flashback about how Robin quit being Robin. And it's this insane episode about how, Batman is being too aggressive with his, with all these people that he's, trying to fight justice, whatever. Yeah. And, there's this one place where, Nightwing kind of retells the story about how he breaks into this man's home and he pushes him against the wall and he breaks his arm while doing it. He brutalizes him. And Robin's like, dude, what are you doing? And it's like, keeps going on like that. And he's just like, and it's in front of his family. So he's like, dude, just not now. It's in front of his family. Don't do it. And so Batman's just like, if you can't deal with it, just... get the fuck out of here. So, but yeah.
Do the same thing in neighboring city where I won't interfere.
Yeah, and it basically reaches a 4 where, Batman and Robin have a fight on this rooftop and Batgirl is there. Batgirl doesn't know that Robin is...
I remember this.
Yeah, and, he punches Batman and he says, I won't be Robin. And he throws his mask down. And it's great because the episode still ends with this thing where... they're still talking about why each other's reasons were really important for why he quit and why at the same time he didn't want him to quit. It was like, it's an amazing episode, and it ends basically with Tim Drake and Nightwing. They finish the story and the bat signal kind of comes up at the end, and Tim, the new Robin is just like, whatever, it's fine. Do you want to just come? And he's just like, all right, sure. And then they just go, and it's awesome. It's like one of my favorite episodes.
I really like that the animated series also knew how to deal with the problem of Robin, because Robin is an odd character. character, to say the least.
Yeah.
He's a 16-year-old boy who is hanging out with a dude in his 40s
Correct.
who punches things and
they have
dresses like a bat.
addressed it like they addressed it perfectly. Yeah.
If you look at it out of continuity, again, the fact that he has a gallery of Robins at this point is surreal. But they address the fact that there's a young kid who's obviously like more hot-headed, more like more punch happy, I want to say.
Yeah, it's more about him trying to be his own man.
Exactly.
I think that they live out of the shadow of Batman, which is incredibly difficult.
And in the DCAU continuity, a bunch of dramatic stuff happens with Tim Drake as well.
Oh god,
and
that's the darkest
That's
stuff.
the darkest. We'll get to that. But yes, the animated series great, and like you said, it brought in Montoya and it brought in the Mr. Freeze sub-story. His origin. That's when we said "Ice to meet you."
No, it's not.
Do you feel like the movies at that point, like the Joel Schumacher ones, they weren't necessarily
not even looking at this, man, as reference? Oh my god, you had the perfect reference point.
Exactly.
Man's Batman Sub-Zero, that movie, is the actual Batman and Robin story. It should have been that movie. But they just
It's like they took pointers from it, like the first Joel Schumacher one. I want to
the
say
Batman Robin story took the same storyline, but they just
they
made
took
it
the Dick Grayson
nonsense.
trapeze artist thing, but they turned it.
I mean,
into
Batman Forever is a flawless movie, but
of course it is.
But Batman Robin, of course, classic. So moving on, Superman. The animated series also came out.
Also great.
Didn't last as long because they kind of
2 seasons, I think.
2 seasons, 2 amazing seasons.
Yeah.
I didn't think they had it in them to nail a Superman series also, and they did it, man.
And they brought Batman into it.
Dude, they bought that crossover was one of our great moments of our lifetime.
That crossover is one of the best episodes.
It's called World's Finest. It's like a 3-arc episode. Just one of the best.
Fantastic.
Just like it's basically what all nerds wanted. Like before, when you kids all have Infinity War now, but we had World's Finest when it came out.
Oh man,
so
the excitement when you realize that they're together is just spectacular.
It's fantastic, and it's such a great man. Even Batman vs Superman could have just been this movie, right?
If they just remastered it and put it out, stitch all those 3 episodes together.
Yeah, I think it is out as a single movie.
I'm sure it is actually.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. It is. Yeah. Now that I think of it, it is part of the DCAU as a standalone movie as well.
Man, Superman also just had some stellar episodes, man. Like, there's so many good ones with Metallo, with Brainiac.
Correct.
With Lex Luthor.
Brainiac's thing in it is
superb, man. They've handled it so perfectly, and that kind of seamlessly went into Justice League.
Yeah.
Which again, one of my man, it's amazing. They did Justice League also. They nailed everything. One of the best things I think about the DC animated series and the movies in general is how they juggle the continuity and the jumping over of storylines. I think that's absolutely spectacular. So they kind of treat it a lot like the comics, where you might have a crossover event or something, or you might have like a big arc that impacts stuff later. Yeah.
But they don't try and talk it down to an audience. They just go like, this is what's happening, and you'll figure it out.
Exactly. It's kind of like what Infinity War did. Yeah, they just
what Infinity War did.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad that they're embracing that idea that, listen, if you haven't seen the other movies, it's fine, just come in, you'll have a good time. You'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah. So with Infinity War, obviously, you can follow the story because it's pretty straightforward at the end of the day. There's evil people and there's good people.
Yeah, but the thing I was thinking about Infinity War is, even if you haven't seen Doctor Strange and stuff like that, you'll still get a vibe of who these characters are in the most minimal dialogue that they have.
Absolutely.
In the one dialogue, say that Doctor Strange says, if it comes down to saving Peter Parker or Iron Man or the Stone, I'm going to save the Stone. So, boom, you know exactly what his agenda is. And that's it. You just need one line of dialogue to establish it clearly that this guy is a man of action. This is all he needs to do. This is his job.
You get a sense of their characters right away.
I think that's what they do in this show as well. In Justice League, the Season 2 finale is, again, one of my all-time favorite arcs.
What happens now?
So that was the last episode before Justice League became Justice League Unlimited. And it's because of these events that it becomes Justice League Unlimited. So basically, in Justice League, the original roster is Green Lantern, which is Jon Stewart Green Lantern, not the Daily Show one. It's Hawk Girl, it's Superman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and Batman, right? So this is the original lineup.
Right.
And in the events of Star Star-Crossed, which is the name of the 3-arc finale of season 2, basically what you realize is that Hawkgirl has been playing everybody. It's like this. It's a big spoiler shit, I guess. My bad. Okay, so basically, it's a spoiler. If you don't want to listen, you can catch from here. But this is it's out. It's been out for like thousands of years. Yeah. But in this, you realize that Hawkgirl's story is that she came from Thanagar to Earth to kind of defend Earth, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. But what you realize is that she's been here as like a recon mission, like as a spy. And she's here as a spy just to have like people kind of scope out the Earth and then help facilitate an invasion.
Right.
So that's what happens. And one of my favorite scenes in this is that because Jon Stewart and Shaira, that's her name, Hawkgirl, they are in a relationship. It's like this ultimate betrayal, and it hits hard because you've been watching Justice League for 2 seasons and she's been having everybody's back, and then suddenly she turns.
Then she turns evil.
But it's a difficult turn because she's grown to love Earth and she's grown to love the people and Jon and everything. So she's like in 2 minds, and she's already betrothed to this one dude. She has a husband. It's like messed up.
Man.
One of my favorite scenes in that episode arc is in those 3 arcs is that so Thanagar's kind of done this invasion and they have to kind of reach a certain place, but they're all like, man, we're all in costume, we can't do it. Yeah. And he's just like, okay, cool. Batman's just like, we're just gonna go undercover. We're going to go as our normal identities. And Flash is like, wait. I haven't told you guys my identity yet. And then Batman's just like, Wally West, Diana Prince. And he just like names everybody's real name. And he's like, boom, it's done. Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
So nice. Cool. So Batman, amazing. And and basically it ends with them they have a meeting like they always do to decide the fate of Shaira, whatever, they win and stuff, and they decide whether she's part of the thing, and they forgive her, but they don't. She's like, I'll never trust you again. And so because of that, and because of this whole espionage thing, they open up the roster to like 100 others so that it's more accountable for the entire Justice League to kind of operate. It's just like, it's mad storytelling, man. Like,
and that's what leads into Justice League
Unlimited. Yeah,
that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Though again, like, you could come in post this as well.
Yeah, and it's
still a great story.
Yeah, and they conclude the Shaira Jon Stewart arc, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so good.
This is one of my hopes for the DC movie universe.
Is it
so with stuff like the Martin Scorsese Joker movie, for example, I would like it if they did stuff that's in the continuity, maybe, but loosely so. Like, have them be episodic, have them be standalone. Stop trying to build a universe where, I mean, you're kind of building it on a messy foundation at this point.
Man, think about it this way. Like, the one-offs that these guys did, like the Marvel Universe did, is just they've taken some of the best arcs. That's what DC Animated Universe is doing, right? They're doing Gotham by Gaslight. They're just taking it directly from the comics, adapting them. They work. You have to adapt them slightly differently for the screen, but like Civil War did or like Winter Soldier. But they work, man. Like, there's a reason why you take stuff from the comics, because it's proven like goods,
Correct.
It's like it works with fans, etc. You take the best arcs and make it work, man. That's what they've been doing. Infinity War, man, one of the most classic arcs ever. It's happening now on film. That's crazy.
But with the MCU, at least, I feel like at this point they've gotten the confidence to use they literally just use the titles and the general theme of it.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
And then kind of go nuts.
Also, they're still committed to kind of following up all the arcs of what they've already established, right?
Yeah. Which, what I want from DC as opposed to Marvel, I think the problem is that the DC movie universe, the DCCU, the DC Extended Universe, right? Yeah. They try so hard to do the Marvel formula when they should be doing the DC Animated Universe formula, which is perfect.
I mean, or just do it one at a time and don't f*** it up, man.
Exactly. Don't f*** it up.
All right.
So let's take a break, and when we come back, let's discuss around 28 of these DC animated
hot takes only.
Hot takes on all of them.
Yes.
All right.
Shunyawan, 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 Shunyawan.
$1 billion acquisition. Another copycat startup got formed.
No, the tech world in India is surely moving double the speed of this voiceover.
Tune in to Shunya One every Tuesday to catch us talking to the smartest people we know on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Shunya One is brought to you by Setu IMAX.
Hey guys, we're back. We're talking about the DC Animated Universe. So Dinkar and I are now going to go through 28 films.
Ish.
Yeah, I'm sure it's up and down from that, but
There's a lot.
I hope this is in chronological order, but let us assume that it is.
Have you seen all of them? I feel like
I have seen all
really?
of them. Yeah,
Have
I don't miss it. It's an event. It's not an event, but like
great.
always make sure I catch up all of them. And you know what I love most when I've forgotten about one and I'm like, oh my god, this movie's
There's
there.
a great movie still there.
Yeah, it's so good.
Let's talk.
All right, let's do it. Superman Doomsday. So now we're going away from the established DCAU. Now the DCAU had, it had Batman, the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. It had Superman. It had the Justice League Unlimited. It had the Zeta Project. It had Static Shock. It had Batman Beyond, something again we've not even talked about.
Man, Batman Beyond is so fantastic.
So good. Oh my god, so good. How do we do this, man? How
Next
do we
great is Batman.
Okay, so the next one is Batman Beyond.
Right.
But yeah, now we're gonna go away and talk about some of the one-offs and maybe some of the newer established continuity for the Justice League.
Okay.
Right? Superman Doomsday. Loosely based on Death of Superman. Did you watch this?
Superman, I feel like I did, yeah.
With
Doomsday
correct.
punches Superman to death.
Correct.
Basically.
So the thing I found weird about this one, it's okay.
Yeah.
The thing I found weird is that they made Superman have these weird lines on his face. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
The animation was so weird.
I don't remember the lines on his face, but I remember it being like a distinctally okay movie.
It's
not
very
particularly
watchable,
memorable.
But it's great because Superman comes back in the black Superman suit,
Right, yeah,
because
yeah.
that can absorb solar energy better. It's great. I loved it.
It's great.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's great. Next one. This could be a front runner for the top 10, top 5, I'd say.
What now? What's
Justice League: The New Frontier.
What happens in this one?
This is a classic. This is based on Darwin Cook's 2003-2004 comic book. One of the, I think it's an Eisner Award winning comic book, and it's like, and Darwin Cook also recently passed away. But this is his legacy, man. DC: The New Frontier basically retold the story of the Silver Age of DC heroes. So it's basically about how the JL kind of unite, and it's done like so skillfully. In this movie particularly, it's got Superman, the story of Superman, obviously the story of Batman. It's one amazing scene in this movie, and I'll just talk about this and then we can move on.
Okay.
Why this is so good. It's basically Batman who is, he's this crime fighter that nobody knows about. And there's also John Jones, Martian Manhunter, who's come to Earth. And he doesn't know how to fit in, so he's morphed into this kind of very 1930s noir
like a
kind
super polished.
a noir kind of detective. And they both go to kind of stop this cult thing, right? This cult thing where it's burning of like girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is a weird thing. And so John Jones goes in as this, his avatar and whatever. He goes to save this person and this kid over there. And Batman also comes, and Batman kind of saves the day. But he approaches the kid, and the kid starts crying because he's so afraid of Batman. And so later on, it cuts to Superman goes and visits Batman, and he's changed. It's the 19th. He's originally wearing the 1930s cowl, and it's really dark and stuff. And now he's shifted more to an Adam West, Neil Adams kind of Batman.
Nice.
And he's like, okay, cool. I've seen you've taken on a sidekick. Also, he's got Robin also to change his branding basically. And one of my favorite lines from this is that Batman immediately recognizes that John Jones is not human, and he's just like, basically, I can't remember what the line is, but it's so cool. He basically comes to John Jones' house. He's like, I don't know what it is about you, but there's something different about you. And he's just like, if, I have so much, so many dollars worth of machinery to take out these criminals. For you, all I need is a penny for a book of matches. And he buzzes because he's like afraid of fire.
Because he's afraid of fire.
Dude, it's so badass.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It's like one of my favorite
lines. How does he even
lines.
know that? This Batman is a smart guy.
He's the best. He's the world's
He can
greatest
look at John
detective.
Jones and go like, I can tell you have apostrophes in your name.
Are you spelling that
apostrophe
with,
on.
Are you from Seeps? Anyway, but yeah.
Cool.
Batman, Gotham Knight.
That's a decent one.
It's a really good one. It's the 4 anthology stories before
Correct.
the
Yes,
Dark Knight
yeah,
release.
yeah.
Really good. Really good.
I vaguely remember it. I feel like
It's got some of the... Yeah, even this one's pretty great. It's one of my favorite ones where he's been shot and he starts to remember...
Correct.
It's got this episode called Working Through Pain.
It's like a bunch of mini stories in like 15 minutes.
And it's great because right at the end of the episode, basically, he's so frustrated. He's remembering his time in India and stuff, learning how to work through pain.
Yeah.
And like he finally starts digging through the sewage and he sees a gun and it reminds him of the gun that killed his parents. And then he bends down, he sees another gun and he keeps picking up guns. And then like the manhole above him opens and Alfred is there. And Alfred's like, give me a hand, sir, I'll pull you through. And he's just looking at him with all these guns in his hands and he's like, I can't. Dude, and the episode ends there. I was like, dude, this is one of the greatest... Man, Batman stories are too good, dude. That's just
Which is why there's so many Batman stories in this. Even the Justice League ones, Batman's obviously the forefront.
Yeah, obviously, because
he has to be.
He's the coolest.
He's freaking Batman, dude.
Janam, that's another expletive.
That's frickin'. I said frickin'.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I didn't say frickin'.
Okay. The next one is Wonder Woman.
I haven't seen this.
So this
is it Wonder Woman's origin story?
It is. It's got Steve Trevor with Nathan Fillion playing Steve Trevor, which
What?
is great. Yeah,
oh my
and Kerry
dude, Nathan
Russell
Fillion
as-
is such a good
Dude,
Steve
this
Trevor.
is a solid
right
entry.
away. In real life, he's Steve Trevor.
He is really Steve
Yeah.
Trevor. And dude, I really enjoyed this this movie. It's basically like the origin story, and you know, it's a good movie. Just watch it.
Cool.
Green Lantern: First Flight.
No, haven't seen that
Cop
either.
thriller set in space.
Really?
Yeah, it's alright.
Okay.
Not bad, not memorable.
Right.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Superman, Batman,
What
public.
Green Lantern does it feature though?
The Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Superman, Batman, Public Enemies.
No, what is this arc?
This one is basically, oh yeah, this I remember. It's Lex Luthor plotting, and there's a big asteroid coming to.
Wait, is this the one where Lex is president? It is, right?
I don't
And
think
he's
I
the
don't remember.
president, and everyone seems cool with it, except Superman and Batman, who are like, "Yo, what's up with
Yeah,
this guy?"
exactly.
Right? That's the
and
one.
he puts a bounty on the heads of
Correct. Yes, I've seen
Superman and
this.
Batman. Yeah,
It's kind of
And-
weird, but
oh,
it's pretty decent.
I do remember what happens in the end. Batman does that Batman thing, which is a really annoying thing where he has to save the day and sacrifice his life.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously he doesn't die.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, I'm going to take care of this asteroid, and he totally Armageddon, Bruce Willis style Armageddon's it. But Superman finds him and catches him.
Yeah.
He's like, why did you have to do that? Yeah.
It's a decent one. I don't
Yeah.
remember too much of it.
Next one is great. though.
Yeah.
Justice League Crisis on Two Earths.
Oh, that's a great one.
This is great.
It's
This is
with the one with the Bizarro Justice
correct,
League.
yeah, which is great because it's
even
got
the designs are so cool.
my favorite thing about it is it's got James Woods as Owlman.
Correct.
And he's so good in it. Oh, this one has an excellent ending. So I guess we're just like
We're
burning
spoiling
through.
everything. Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. Oh, actually, you know what?
I wanna spoil
These
this one.
movies
This
are
has got-
fine even with spoilers, if you
Yeah,
ask
this
me.
has got an amazing ending. I think straight out of the comic book, where basically they realize that Owlman has lost his shit. Both universes realize Owlman has lost his crap,
Yeah.
and he's going to destroy all the entire multiverse. And so Batman tells the Flash, basically the two Flashes. I can't remember what the other what do you call a Flash is called, but basically, it's called Johnny Quick, right? So there's Johnny Quick and Flash, and Batman says, "Oh, you have to run around this thing, so many times." Because we need to kind of assemble the universe, reverse everything, and like Flash is about to do it, and Batman is just like, no, don't do it. And Johnny Quick's like, okay, cool, I'll do it, and he goes and he runs around it.
Yes.
And at the end of it, basically Johnny Quick is like an old man,
Yeah,
like he's like really old, and basically Batman's just looking out for his bro. That's it.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
Oh my god, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's freaking nuts, dude.
That might be the best Justice League, I want to say. It's a
Oh, there's one. Oh, yeah, sure. I think it's one of the better ones. Yeah, definitely. Now we're coming to like GOAT, bro.
All right.
I think this is one of the best. Oh, by the way, one of my favorites is not in this list, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's because it's prior to
All
know
of
which
these?
One, yeah, I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah?
Batman Under the Red Hood first, though.
This might be GOAT.
This is GOAT.
I think this is
top quality stuff.
It's such a dark So Under the Red Hood is basically about the return of a dead Robin, essentially.
Jason Todd,
Jason Todd. So it starts with that
Starts
was
with
also
that-
a spoiler, right?
No, it's dude. Jason Todd is a part
there is
of
a
the-
very dramatic arc where Jason Todd dies, and
A Death in the Family. It's basically
a Death in the Family, which was also adapted, correct?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one where they ask the public to decide whether they want Jason Todd to live or die.
Yeah.
And they said, kill him.
Kill him.
And the Joker kills him off with a crowbar.
But he returns
Yeah.
wearing a red hood as a super violent vigilante, essentially.
Yeah.
And most of the movie is Batman trying to figure out who this guy is and
dude.
like why he seems so familiar. And Dick Grayson is in there as well.
Yeah.
'Cause, like Nightwing pops in
I
and
think
pops
it's Neil
out.
Patrick
correct?
Harris, yeah.
Yes, Neil Patrick Harris is Nightwing.
Yeah. And Bruce Greenwood. Bruce Greenwood as friggin' Batman.
Dude, that's a
this
great
guy is
Batman.
one of the best Batmans, I gotta say. If you guys don't recognize, he's in Star Trek, the reboot of Star Trek, as the older captain who inspires. I can't remember his name, but yeah. Oh man, he's so good. And dude, this movie has just like drama. Dude. It's like in family
it's
drama.
one of the darkest any DC movies that you'll see. As Deadpool says, MCBC, are you from DC?
Oh, God.
Yeah, well, this is what he's talking about.
Yep.
It can get pretty dark.
It can get extremely dark. Next one. So I'm going to say this is one of the top 5.
Okay.
Superman, Batman, Apocalypse. Do you remember this one?
No.
This is the one where Supergirl comes to Earth from Krypton and basically Darkseid is trying to kill her or something.
Okay, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, I remember seeing this. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
There's great action in this one. Next one, All-Star Superman.
That's a great one.
That's solid.
It's, again, almost episodic because that's how All-Star Superman is as well in the comic book arc, where it's a bunch of little things. But basically, Superman gon' die.
Superman going to die. Because Lex Luthor, masterful plan, by the way.
Yeah.
He tricks Superman in going so close to the sun that he's absorbed too much energy and now he's dying.
Yeah, but also he's stronger than ever.
Yeah. So just for that brief moment, oh man, even this ending is classic, but I don't want to ruin this one. It's so good.
You also see the cool-ass white Superman in this one, correct?
Yeah. It's great. I mean, Superman is white, but yeah, white Superman. Green Lantern, Emerald Knights.
I don't think I watched any Green Lantern solo.
This is good. It's like more, again, like All-Star Superman's anthology-based kind of stuff. Yeah, it's alright. Not memorable, but Nathan Fillion is Al Jordan, so there you go.
Nice.
Oh, we are coming to another GOAT. This is, again, one of my favorite ones. For one, if not any other reason, one reason alone. This one is called Batman Year One.
Oh,
directly
fantastic.
Adapted. And it's got my boy Bryan Cranston as James Gordon. And that is the real central figure of the story.
Yeah, because it's the framing device is Gordon's narration, essentially.
Oh, man.
Which is again lifted. It's
Super
almost
dark.
like storyboarded by the comic book. So it's based on the Frank Miller one-off.
One of my favorite comics ever.
A great comic.
Yeah.
It's kind of got the darkness of a Frank Miller, but also with the lightness of a Batman.
The
lightness is the wrong word.
Yeah.
But the animation is
Makes
just like
it
very
somewhat
classic
more
kind of
palatable.
thing.
Yeah, it makes it way more palatable.
But it's great. It's basically Batman origin story and the kind of stuff Batman has to go through in his first year fighting crime.
So good. So good.
Fantastic.
And what Gordon also simultaneously has to go through, he's kind of rising through the ranks.
Correct. It features Gordon as a newbie in the police force at that time, And they've just moved to Gotham.
Yeah, he's just moved.
So he lands up and realizes what anybody living in Gotham should, which is like, what is this place? It's the worst.
Yeah, it sucks, basically. And people are corrupt. People want to circumvent him. And it's just, it's difficult being a cop in Gotham. That's basically what it is about. But wow, amazing movie, just like superb. Yeah.
There's a sequence in it where Batman is injured and stuck inside a building.
So good.
Which is possibly one of the most fantastic Batman sequences ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Spectacular.
Oh god, really good. Really, 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 really good.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Justice League Doom. I think this is the first one that sets up that continuity, does it? No, it does not.
Is Justice League Doom the Tower of Babel one?
Yes, the Tower of Babel.
Cool.
So this is not the one that sets up, but this is also excellent.
It's also a great one.
Yeah.
This is basically where the best part of this, of course, is that Batman
He's like, at the end of the movie, they're just like, Batman, how could you do this? You knew all our weaknesses. You let it go. It's top secret information. He's like, yo, listen, I don't need you guys.
So Batman's got a game plan on how to defeat every single member of the Justice League.
So cool.
Including himself.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
And that speech at the end is one of my favorites, where he's just like, so Batman, we're going to take a vote whether you can stay in the Justice League or not.
And he's like, dude, screw you.
He's like, if you can't realize how individually dangerous each of y'all are, then I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm outie. And he bounces, and they're just like, oh. And Superman comes up to him and he's like, you think you're so friggin' arrogant. You didn't come up with a means to destroy you? And he's like, I did. It's called the Justice League.
Yeah.
What?
Boom.
So good. Amazing.
So good.
Dude, Batman just owns... Man,
At this point, we're
need.
just reenacting the climaxes of all these movies.
Dude, you know what? They should have just made Batman in the movies like this. You don't have to give him an arc. You just have to give him cool lines and make him be cool.
Because everyone knows this Batman.
Yes,
this is the Batman who's permeated our collective consciousness.
Exactly. You don't need to explain. Okay, next. Superman versus the Elite.
I don't know this at all.
This one is
Who's the Elite?
This is a really good movie, actually. It's got really cool ethics values. Basically, Superman is this, truth American way, truth, justice, in American way, right? But what about a vigilante or a team of vigilantes who take law into their own hands and do something more, like kill off bad guys rather than, put them in jail
not
or
cool,
put them on trial.
That's not the American way.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's basically about the Elite, which is this this group of, so to speak, heroes who are willing to go to places which Superman is not. And so it's a fight between both of them. It's pretty cool, actually.
Okay, interesting.
That was quite nice. Now we get to a really heavy adaptation. Sorry, I know we're just going through all of it. Janam's looking at us like she's like, dude, there are too many of these movies.
There are a lot. We're not even halfway, I assume.
Oh man. Okay.
Because
quickly,
like some of my favorites haven't come up yet.
Quickly. The Dark Knight Returns, the two-parter.
It's a two-parter, yes, correct. It's 2 full movies. It's like 3 hours.
And they've combined it into one now.
Correct.
Directly adapted.
So, yeah, again, directly adapted. It's Dark Knight Returns is one of the best comic book versions of the Dark Knight.
It's never been my favorite. Because of how dark it gets.
It's really dark. And they kind of keep it in... Again, it's like pretty much directly adapted from the Frank Miller thing. Like there's frames that are turned into animation. But yeah.
I will say one really cool thing about this. Peter Weller as Batman.
Oh, I
Peter
didn't know
Weller
that.
who plays RoboCop in the original RoboCop. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
I don't like the... I mean, just the fact that it's an old mustachioed Batman is kind of weird.
That's a really great scene, right?
Where basically his training montage is him shaving off his mustache.
No, he wakes up in the middle of the night with like these sweats and stuff and realizes that his mustache is gone. He's done it in his sleep because he knows he has to be Batman. All right, next. Superman Unbound. Have you seen this one?
No.
I cannot remember.
Who's he unbounded
this is
from?
about Brainiac.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh God, there's a lot going on in this one.
It's not a good guy?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Now, I'm pretty sure this is your favorite. Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox.
Of course.
Yes.
That's one of the goats. I think it's between this and Under the Red Hood.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I'll tell you mine at the end when we get to the end. Flashpoint Paradox, adapted from Flashpoint, the series. Man, superb. One of my favorites. Really, really good. And a story that focuses on Flash.
Just the logline of it is that the TV show Flash tried adapting this loosely, but basically
But we just about stopped watching it when it decided to do that.
But basically the Flash resets the DC universe so that Bruce Wayne never becomes Batman.
And Thomas Wayne is Batman.
The dad.
Yeah.
And the Joker.
Oh man, too good.
Let's not spoil that.
Let's not spoil that.
Yeah.
Let's moving on. Justice League War.
Justice League War.
Yeah, now so Flashpoint Paradox I think is the first one that does that, or maybe Superman Unbound. Now War is like the first time the Justice League unite in this new continuity.
It's
which
like the new 52 version of
the new 50,
Justice
exactly
League.
the new 52 version. So yeah, it was alright. It was not great.
Yeah,
it was alright, but it has
fine.
the new Justice League roster, which is Cyborg and Green Lantern, etc. But yeah, it's and Alan Tudyk plays Superman. Wow, I had no idea. Yeah, it's bizarre.
I can't imagine him as Superman.
Yeah.
Alright.
Now we get into the Batman films. Son of Batman. This is when we introduce that son of a bitch, Damian Wayne, and the whole Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul story. Pretty dark. I actually really liked it. I actually like that Damian is a little piece of shit. He's great. It's a great story and it's really nice.
Yeah.
Moving on. Batman, Assault on Arkham. This is essentially adapted from the Arkham Asylum, the games.
Right.
And it's supposed to focus on the Suicide Squad, but obviously you can't make it work without Batman.
I remember Assault on Arkham. Yeah, correct. This is the one where you've got, what's your Suicide Squad lady's name? Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller, yeah.
She's an outright dick in this one.
Oh, she's an outright dick generally.
Yeah, no, but in this one she's the villain. She's not even like your good guy who's kind of a dick. She's just, if this is the one I'm thinking of.
I think this is the one. And Kevin Conroy reprises his role. So that's
correct,
cool.
yeah, it is.
Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Man, I can't even remember this one.
It's got a fish guy in it.
It's got a solid fish guy.
Right.
Oh, is this coming out? No, it's well out. Oh, then Batman versus Robin. This is like the sequel to Son of Batman, where he becomes Robin and he's just an asshole.
He's
continuing to be an asshole. Next, Justice League Gods and Monsters. I remember this one as well. This one came out recently. Like a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Can't remember much.
Alright, so not memorable.
Batman, Bad Blood. Oh, this is the Court of Owls story, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
There's so many of these movies.
This is based on a really good arc in the comics, which is... I can't remember whom. But Court of Owls story, really, really good.
Okay.
Justice League versus the Teen Titans.
Not seen it.
Alright.
Okay.
Batman, The Killing Joke, directly adapted. Go.
Okay.
Yeah, they took some liberties.
They took a lot of liberties at the start, which I was not a fan of, but the actual Killing Joke adaptation was solid.
Yeah, and they got Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill to do it, which is a win.
The classic combo.
Justice League Dark, you can check out our episode, which we reviewed it on.
Yeah, we did an entire episode on it. But again, like, they use Batman as an entry point into all these stories. They do it with the Suicide Squad thingy that we just talked about. They do it with this as well, where Batman is basically just there, so you go like, oh, cool, Batman's in this. I'll watch.
Yeah. Teen Titans, The Judas Contract.
Not seen it.
It's alright.
That must be that's a recent one, right?
Yeah, very recent.
Right.
And even more so recent, Batman and Harley Quinn.
Also not seen that
so,
yet.
What? Really?
No.
That's a weird... It's comedy.
Really?
It's Kevin Conroy and, Melissa Rauch. I think they voice
from the Big Bang Tea.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, voice Batman and Harley Quinn, and it's a weird one.
I can see Melissa Rauch.
It's like comedy. It's actually comedic, and there's some adult scenes in this one.
What?
Bizarre. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we get to Batman Gotham by Gaslight.
All right. Which
Upcoming
we have discussed.
films: Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, Death of Superman, and Reign of Supermen, etc.
Okay.
All
There's
right.
a lot coming, basically. So
which is your all-time favorite? Give me.
I think Under the Red Hood.
Okay, Under the Red Hood. I'd say Under the Red Hood. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to tell you my favorite.
All right.
The Goat.
The Goat.
Is one which we didn't even name.
Which is?
Called The Mask of the Phantasm.
Dude! Yes! Why is that not in this list?
It's because it came out
before all
these movies.
That might be the greatest DC movie
I think it's the greatest
of all time.
Batman movie probably.
It is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, apart from the Dark Knight trilogy,
it is
right
fantastic.
Up there. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yes.
Yes.
I think that's number one for me. Mask of the Phantasm. Gonna go with Under the Red Hood.
Yeah.
Year One,
okay.
And The New Frontier, Justice League The New Frontier, which you should watch.
I might go the same, except I'd throw Flashpoint Paradox.
Oh, sorry, Flashpoint. Oh my God, yeah, Flashpoint as well.
Yeah, maybe Flashpoint above Year One. No, I don't know. Oh, it's
difficult. Year One is great.
But these are the best entry points into the DC animated universe, possibly.
Yes, and
maybe
we have ruined all of them for you.
No, I don't think we have. You can watch all of these
watch
anyway.
all these and you will enjoy them.
Part of the hook of these is trying to follow along and go, how do we get here?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's still a lot of good comics to be adapted. I think Batman R.I.P. is a great option for them.
That could be cool.
Batman Hush is one of my favorites.
That's one of the best arcs.
Would be amazing. A bunch of really good arcs. Green Lantern, what do you call it? The War of the Color War. What is it? Green Lantern Corps, Sinestro Wars.
Right.
Yeah, would be amazing. So many good.
They might.
Yeah. Would be amazing.
Though they are doubling down on the Batman, basically, right?
The Batman is
they always
man.
have.
He's
always been the man. Yes. But of late, especially, everything is Batman, or even with Justice League Dark, where there's no reason to have Batman there.
It's a sure thing, man. That's why.
Yeah, it's
and
a sure
who's
thing.
saying no? Like, we'll watch
all the
anything.
Batmans we can get. It's cool that they're trying out all these funky variations on Batman.
Hashtag
also.
all the Batmans.
Batman as a ninja is fantastic.
Yes. All right, that's our episode. Wow, we really went over the limit.
But it's fine. Everybody enjoyed it.
So this is our extra special episode on the DC Animated Universe. Let us know what you think. Which is your favorite? Let us know. Contact geekfruit@gmail.com. You can go to our website, geekfruit.in, I guess. And facebook.com/geekfruithq. You can go at geekfruithq on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Tell us your favorite Batman stories.
Yes, tell us your Batman stories.
Yeah.
And tell me you didn't cry in that scene with Andrea Beaumont and Bruce Wayne in The Mask of the Phantasm. Yes. All right. Cool. That's our episode. See you later.
You nerds.
He bends down to test the warm water for his bath. He comes here to quench his thirst for a hot shower and some podcasts. You can witness how he enjoys having other people talk about cool stuff in his bathroom. Indeed, it helps him with his loneliness. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcast.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.